It's a Wednesday matinee here in St. Louis. Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. And today the Cubs go for the 3-game sweep as they take on the first place St. Louis Cardinals. Great to have you with us. Only day game in baseball. Jim DeShays and Len Casper. It's been a fun series for the Cubs. They had lost 6 of 7 in this ballpark. They've won the first 2. We know about offense. We know about pitching. But how about the defense?
Yeah, especially last night. The defense really shined in support of Jason Hamill. Javi Baez had a big day. A couple double plays, though, early. Addison Russell charging that ball onto Castro. Great turn under pressure there from Jason Hayward. They're more routine 6-4-3 double play. Next go around, Javi Baez with a spectacular play. That was a great look from that left field shot as he anticipated the bunt, came and got a good strong throw, and then a great reaction play diving to his left.
Baez is back in the lineup and playing third again today as he made a big catch as the Cardinals were trying to rally late. Our lows never stop improving. So the season series started out not so good for the Cubs, but they've been terrific here as of late.
Yeah, and really ambushing the Cardinal starters the last 2 nights here, or day and night here in St. Louis. You remember that series here earlier this year? They just couldn't seem to get a big hit with men in scoring position. Here the bats have been red hot.
Let's get into the starting pitching matchup today. John Lester, who faced the Cardinals on opening night at Wrigley Field, will go for the Cubs, and a young hard-throwing righty who's an all-star this year, Carlos Martinez.
Yeah, Lester not particularly good on opening night, but the next 2 starts against the Cardinals quite good, so he's pitched to a 196 ERA against them this year. Carlos Martinez, yeah, young kid, 23 years of age, electric stuff. Much better in the first half than he has been here since the All-Star break.
Cubs a chance to get within 5.5 of the division leaders. They got a 9-game pad in the wild card. Kyle Schwarber back in the lineup, first time in over a week. We'll hear from David Ross, and we'll get you set for baseball.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. AT&T Uverse. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Mobilizing your world. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
Make sure you follow Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider, all season long here on Comcast Sportsnet. Brought to you by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. He had a chance to talk to today's starting catcher, David Ross.
People back in Chicago are talking about sending a message or making a statement. How has this team changed since a couple months ago when you guys got swept here at Busch Stadium?
I don't think we've changed. I think we're just maturing as a group. I think the season, you hope to, when you start in spring training, you hope to get better as the season goes on, especially when you have as many young guys as we do. So I just think we've been a team that's been getting better throughout the year, and we've hit our stride since after the All-Star break. I feel like we've been a pretty consistent team. We've played some really good competition and swept some really good teams. So I think it's just a fact of just us growing as a group.
Are there any common characteristics when you look at this group of young players around the room here?
Well, I mean, they care. I think that's number one. They're very talented. Obviously, I think everybody knows that. But when you get a group that cares about each other and the group as a whole, about helping each other out, whatever it is, whether it's pitching, hitting, defense, this whole group cares about one another, and they care about winning, and we have fun, and and obviously, like I said, the talent speaks for itself.
Why has John Lester historically been such a strong finisher and a good big game performer?
Well, I think that's a personality trait. I think guys that relish in the big moment, and he grew up in an environment that every moment was big, and I think he learned to adapt to that, and that's why he's a big game pitcher. He's just that's why he he's got the reputation he does. That's why he's got 2 World Series rings. That's why he gets paid all the money he gets paid. So there's guys are hard to find in this game, and for me it's a personality thing.
I mean, Joe Madden's talked about the conversations in bar rooms and on Twitter of who would start a one-game playoff. Who would be your call in a scenario like that, maybe in Pittsburgh or back at Wrigley with the way you guys have been playing?
Well, I mean, I think we have a lot of confidence in all our guys. I mean, you can't deny what Jake Arrieta's been doing this year. He should be in the Cy Young race with some of those guys out in L.A. and even the MVP candidate for our team. He's been doing. Him and Riz have just been carrying us on a every time they go out there. So I think we got a lot of confidence in our guys. It doesn't matter whether it's Kyle Hendricks' young self going out there and pitching in a game. I think we have a lot of confidence in all our guys. So either way, no matter who pitches that game, I think we got a really good chance, and we believe in ourselves.
How do you describe your relationship with Rizzo? It seems like whenever he walks in the room, you've got a big hug or a greeting for him. And how do you describe the way he's taken his game to really an MVP level this year?
Yeah, he has. I mean, Riz is like I said earlier, he's done phenomenal for us. He's the guy posting up there every day and carrying the load in the middle of our lineup and plays great defense. And, he's our leader out there on the field. So, I mean, I got a little thing with him. It's like the father-son thing. I think he thinks I'm his dad because I'm that old. So he makes fun of me in that way. And he's still got some young characteristics that I get onto him about. So it's just a fun relationship we have of keeping each other in check and holding each other accountable. I don't know if a lot of guys, I hold him accountable to high standards because he's that good. And I think he appreciates that, and I think sometimes he hates it. But, so I make sure I check in with every day, make sure he's ready to carry the load.
Good stuff from the veteran catcher David Ross. He'll be working with John Lester. We will have the lineups, the first pitch, and all the action. Cubs and Cards. Cubs go for the sweep. welcome all our viewers watching on Liberty Communications in West Liberty, Iowa. Cubs and Cardinals. Overcast, might have a threat of rain later as all-star right-hander Carlos Martinez will face this Cubs Southwest starting lineup. And notice Kyle Schwarber's back. First start since September 1st. Had the mild ribcage strain, got a pinch hit at bat last night, so he bats behind Fowler and ahead of Coghlan, who plays right. Anthony Rizzo's at first, Tommy La Stella at second, Javier Baez will play third, David Ross catches for John Lester as per usual, and Addison Russell, who homered on Monday, will play short and hit ninth.
Cardinals defensively here this afternoon. Rookies in the outfield and left and center. Steven Piscotty. Randall Grichuk still nursing a tender arm, but he's in center field today. Jason Hayward, Gold Glover, is in right. Johnny Peralta had the day off yesterday. He's back at short. Mark Reynolds is the third baseman. Matt Carpenter slides over to second. Colton Wong still bothered by a leg injury. Brandon Moss has started at first base in all 3 games of this series. Yadier Molina behind the plate. And Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Cardinals is young right-hander Carlos Martinez, 23 years of age, an all-star season, 13 wins against 7 losses and a 3.04 ERA.
Vic Carapazza is a home plate umpire. Ron Culp is at first. Larry Vanover at second. Brian Knight is at third.
Lester and Ross make their way into the dugout. There's been a changing of the guard out there as the starter and the catcher and the pitching coach leave, and a stream of relievers file in.
And we're underway. Foul tip, strike one.
This kid has plus stuff. He could top out at 100 miles an hour. Sits around 95. Will sink it. Get a lot of ground balls. Breaking ball and a change. Our quality pitches as well. The ball's high, isn't it? Vic, maybe a little bit. Maybe not.
A little bit off the corner. And it's 1-2. Cubs going for their 6th in a row.
Martinez not a real big guy. 6 foot even, a $185. A nice loose delivery. Ball really jumps out of his hand.
You got to like 0-2 to 3-2. And called strike 3. Fowler, no argument. Aside from the threat of rain, no complaints about 78 degrees here in St. Louis, right?
Yeah, especially 2 days ago at the Labor Day game, it was smoking here.
Good to have Kyle Schwarber back in the lineup. Right on the outside corner.
It's 97 with good movement to the edge.
50th major league game for Kyle. This series, first time he's played against the Cardinals. Chris Coghlan is on deck. So Chris Bryant gets a day off today. Addison Russell probably will be the next guy to get a day off. Swing and a miss. Martinez locked in here early as Cardinal starters giving up first inning runs in the first 2 games of this series. And looks like he's bound and determined to not do that today.
Yeah, obviously his intentions are to have a clean first inning. He's real crisp here early on. Boy, sometimes it takes a starting pitcher a while to get there, but he appears to be there.
Ball one on Chris Coghlan. 2 out of 8 in the series. Martinez will turn 24 later this month. And he's behind in the count.
First full year in the rotation for Martinez. Cut his teeth in the bullpen the last couple of seasons. He did make a handful of starts last year, but most of his work was out of the pen.
JD mentioned not a big guy, 6 feet 185, but he's a hard thrower, and that ball is lined into right center. So Coghlan squares one up.
Fastball caught a good chunk of the plate, and Coghlan rifles it into right center, and that means Martinez is going to have to deal with Rizzo here. Hit a 2-run homer in the first inning yesterday.
.29 on the year, 100 now in his career. He's in one of those spurts. 6 games, 8 hits, 3 homers, 4 walks, 9 RBIs. I wouldn't call Anthony streaky per se. His quote slumps have been very short, but it feels like he'll have 2 or 3 games where he doesn't do a whole lot. Then he's got 5 or 6 where it's bam, bam, bam. And he's had a lot of those spurts this season.
Yeah, well, he's just a real good hitter. So he did, you know, when he struggles, it doesn't last long. He's able to make adjustments. We've talked all year long about his approach with 2 strikes. He's going to get a chance to show it off here.
Martinez has his sign from Molina, who slides toward the outside, and Rizzo spoils it. Cubs have not swept the Cardinals in this ballpark, and they play here 3 times a year since 2010. It was a September series that season. Low and away, 1-2.
Martinez with a 4.13 ERA since the All-Star break. He's just been kind of so-so of late. He allowed 4 runs in 5 innings last time out against the Pirates, seeing his ERA go above 3 for the first time since May.
They had a minor back issue, so that start was a few days later than scheduled. That has been a theme in this series. The first 2 starters for the Cardinals pitching on extra rest. Rizzo sends that one out toward the gap. Let's see if Coghlan can think about scoring.
He can't throw.
And he will try to score. Relay throw will not be made. The throw instead will go to third as Rizzo's caught in a rundown.
He's going to get there.
And he's on his way. How about that? 1-0 Cubs. That was a crazy play, starting with what you mentioned. Randall Grichuk can't throw. He had to flip the ball to Jason Hayward.
Yeah, he's got that bad arm, and you knew the Cardinals were going to have to come up with a plan B out there for him, and we just saw it, and it cost them a run. So Mike Matheny, even though he's got a somewhat comfortable lead, it's not quite as comfortable as it once was. He wants Grichuk's bat in the lineup, but he's clearly giving something up. That's a difference maker, perhaps, between Coghlan scoring and not scoring. That little shuffle flip over there to Hayward. And so Martinez, like Lynn and Waka before him, does not get through the first inning unscathed.
2-out rallies. Single by Coghlan, double by Rizzo, and a strike to La Stella.
Anthony with a bit of bad base running there, getting caught rounding third, but he managed to get there.
Yeah, he caught the Cardinals shorthanded as Martinez was late getting over to third. 99 on that pitch from Martinez, who may be a little aggravated. 1-1. In the air to left. It's deep. Piscotty going after it, and it's over his head. Rizzo will score. The ball actually bounced out of play. It's a double for La Stella.
Well, there's a whole lot of early scathing going on by the Cubs in this series. They have damaged Lynn, Walker, and now Martinez, who looks so good with that electric stuff. First two hitters of the game. Coghlan, Rizzo, and now La Stella. The left-handers getting him and getting him in a big way.
Three straight two-out hits. Yeah, Grichuk battling an injured right elbow. Came off the DL. Was only able to pinch run. Made a surprise appearance at the plate last night and hit a two-run homer to help the Cardinals get back into the game. And was a little surprised when I got to the ballpark to see him in the lineup today. He had said he was not comfortable throwing, and we just saw an example of that as he had to flip the ball to Hayward. Matt Adams, before the game today, also activated off the 60-day DL. He had a quad injury. We don't know what his availability is, and with expanded rosters you can activate a guy and you don't necessarily obviously have to use him. Strike called on Baez.
And Mike Matheny's probably over there in the Cardinal dugout thinking, man, I can't get away with anything. And I'm sure his game plan was to get Grichuk 2, maybe 3 at bats here today, and then get him out for defense late, hoping that he would not be exposed out there.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Baez.
An understandable gamble with Martinez, who's an extreme ground ball pitcher. He has the 5th highest ground ball rate in Major League Baseball.
And Baez, that's been a rare occurrence since he came up, swinging at a pitch way off the plate. John Lester with a 2-0 lead. Stephen Piscotty, the rookie left fielder. Jason Hayward, big year against the Cubs. He's in right. Johnny Peralta back in the lineup. He was off last night. Randall Grichuk, we mentioned him. He's in center. Molina, Moss, Reynolds, veterans, 6, 7, and 8. And Martinez, the pitcher, getting 9th.
Cubs defensively, Schwarber back in there. Fowler's in center. Coughlin's got right this afternoon. Baez spectacular yesterday. Defensively, Russell and La Stella are in the middle. Anthony Rizzo over there at first. David Ross behind the plate. That's the starting pitcher for the Cubs is the big lefty John Lester, making his 28th start, looking to even his record at 10-10. He's pitched to a 3.59 ERA. League gets 253 against him. He's a ground ball pitcher. Also gets a fair number of strikeouts. Doesn't walk many. And as we noted in our open, he's been good against the Cardinals this year.
Beat the Cardinals twice in the World Series a couple of years ago with Boston. So lefty against lefty. Lester to Carpenter, and he shows bunt. Takes a fastball bottom of the zone.
And there'll be a whole lot of that with John on the mound. Bottom of the zone stuff.
Game 1 and Game 5, 2013 World Series. 7 2/3 in Boston, 7 2/3 here in St. Louis. Gave up 1 run combined in the Fall Classic. Red Sox won that series in 6. John Lackey, who now pitches for the Cardinals, beat Michael Wacha in the clincher. Carpenter shoots one out toward right center. It's going to roll for a while. And he's going to try for 3, and he's going to make it.
Carpenter has sacrificed average this year to hit for more power, and he's certainly done that. He's hit 21 home runs, way more than he has hit in the past. This time it's a 3-base hit to get things started. In the bottom half of the first, we've talked a lot about Fowler and how shallow he plays in center field, and one of the compromises you make is the ability to cut balls like this off. And he wants to track that one down all the way out there about 400 feet away, and it's a leadoff triple for Carpenter.
Second 3-base hit of the year for Carpenter, and the Cubs will play the infield back here in the first inning. Piscotty the hitter. And he fouls back for strike 1.
John, last time out, a winning pitcher over the Diamondbacks. It was a 14-5 Cub win. He pitched 5 innings, allowed 5 hits and 2 runs. Worked awfully hard through 91 pitches in those 5 innings.
6'4", 240. John Lester. 0-2. .359 ERA coming in. His career ERA over a decade, 3.58.
Ahead in the count now. They'll be thinking punch out here with a man on third.
And he gets one. Piscotty strikes out.
Talk so much about situational hitting. Good situational pitching here, trying to keep the ball out of play. You've got a couple pitches to work with once you're up in the count 0-2, and he goes to his favorite pitch, that hard cutter down and in under the swing of Piscotty.
And Jason Hayward. Outside, ball 1.
Matt Carpenter taking an awfully big lead down there at third base. Baez playing way off the line.
Lester is signed through 2020 when he'll be 36. Two and 0 the count. Peralta on deck. Here it is. Now 2-1. Yeah, so Lester, all kinds of contractual security. Jason Hayward will be a free agent after this season.
He's going to get paid.
That's a strike. 2-2. By whom? We're not sure yet.
It'd be a very aggressive market for his services.
Yeah, and he's a young free agent. He just turned 26. The kick, the 2-2, and we'll do it again.
So 2 years ago he got hit. Or was it last year? He got hit in the face. That's why he's wearing that extra protection on his helmet.
It was 2 years ago. Yeah. Pretty sure. Ground ball up the middle, and it's now 2-1 as Hayward drives in Carpenter.
Hayward continues his good work against John Lester. That's really the key guy in that situation with 1 out. Obviously a lot better chance to get that run home than a guy does with 2, but it's a good solid 2-strike approach there. Shortening up middle of the field.
I guess once you get used to wearing that helmet with the cheek protection, the jaw flap, kind of makes sense just to keep wearing it. And he takes off immediately. Ross gets rid of it quickly. Throw on the other side of the bag, and he didn't get it. Good effort by La Stella. So when you look at these starting pitchers, Carlos Martinez, when he's been on the mound, base stealers are 2 out of 7 this year. We know the John Lester story. Base stealers now 42 out of 50. So the running game could be big today for the Cardinals.
He's out.
Ooh, he's out.
He's out. And that one's going to get overturned. So make an adjustment in your scorecard.
Yeah, it'll be 41 out of 50.
Good job by La Stella. So he keeps it on. No, maybe not. But boy, that last look, it looked like he had him. He got the leg there. So it's interesting. Those 2 different looks. The first one we had, it looked clearly out. Second one looked safe. And the irony there is Hayward did not have a very good lead, didn't get a great jump. If Ross gets off a typical David Ross throw, he's going to be out regardless of whether he stays on the base or not.
Yeah, the last look we had, the foot seemed to stay on.
Is there a point where, there's no contact with the base, but there is with the tag?
Yeah, the hand came off, but
Our very first look we had was the outlook.
Okay, there.
Yeah.
You just can't see the foot because of La Stella's body. Yeah.
And I don't know that they'll be able to tell.
So an early challenge.
All kinds of problems for my scorebook.
And Joe will not have any more.
Well, if you're playing a team twister, you want Hayward on your team.
Right.
He's long and flexible.
Now Peralta, still only 1 out. Breaks his bat as he rolls one to La Stella. Hayward will advance to third. 2 outs. So they confirm the call.
Grichuk having a fine rookie season, a pinch hit long home run here last night.
on the hands, and he fights it off foul. Randall Alexander Grichuk just turned 24. First round pick of the Angels, 2009, right ahead of Mike Trout. Call strike 3. They get one. It's 2-1 Cubs after an eventful first. Using the hashtag Cubs Talk. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at CSN Cubs. So Cubs got 2. Cardinals answered back with 1. As we wrap up this series and head off to Philadelphia. 4-game series there, and then we stay in Pennsylvania. Off day Monday. 4 games in 3 days versus the Pirates next week.
We go from cheesesteaks to pierogies.
Yeah. Old home week, I guess, for Joe Madden, too. From Hazleton, PA.
Maybe we should go over to the diner on the off day before we had to stay in Philly, and we'll drive up to Hazleton.
Joe actually grew up a Cardinal fan in Pennsylvania. Dad took him to a Yankee Stadium, and he liked the Cardinal cap.
And then with the reach of KMOX, he able to listen in every night to the Cardinal games.
And listen to Harry Carey. David Ross bounces to Mark Reynolds.
He has an encyclopedic knowledge of the 1960s Cardinals, man. It's unbelievable.
Didn't he write a letter to Harry?
He did, yeah, and Harry wrote back.
Thanks to David Ross for spending a few minutes with Patrick Mooney. Pre-game coverage. Here's Lester. 1 hit on the year. He did score twice in his last start. First 2 runs of his major league career. Two and 0. So the story of Carlos Martinez is pretty interesting. He's from Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic, an area he grew up about 3 hours from Santo Domingo. He was a shortstop, switched to the mound just before he signed his first deal, and that ended up being controversial. He signed with Boston in 2009, but a few weeks later that deal was voided by Major League Baseball. He was known as Carlos Matias, M-A-T-I-A-S at the time, but there were some questions about his identity and his birth certificate. So he served a year-long suspension and then signed with St. Louis. That's the short version. 3-2 on Lester. Man, he drives this ball out toward left, and it's going to get down. Piscotty was playing almost on the foul line, and John Lester has his second major league hit. Remember, he set a major league record by going 0 for his first 66 to start his career. He's now 2 for 86.
The boys were demanding the head rub there from Lester in the dugout. They weren't going to quit until he gave it to him, and big smile on his face. And we've said it from day one. He's got a good swing, and much better than people realize.
Both of his hits have come against the Cardinals. The other was off his former teammate John Lackey in July. Now Addison Russell takes a strike. So when you hear about birth certificate issues and identity, you think about someone falsifying their age. That was not the case. Where he grew up in the Dominican, record keeping apparently wasn't great. He never knew his dad. His mother died when he was young, so he was raised by his grandmother and an uncle whose last name was Matias. So that led to the confusion. So his uncle basically gave Carlos his last name, and the Cardinals did a lot of painstaking research. That one could drop, and it does. And a base hit for Russell.
A good read there by John Lester, a guy who has not spent a lot of time on the bases. That can be a bit of a prickly situation. Oh, he's checking in with Jerry Jones, wants to make sure on the outs.
Perfectly placed by Russell, as Carpenter just couldn't get it.
You just have to get into that spot on the baseline where you're not going to be forced at second if it drops, and you can scramble back to first if it's caught.
So here's Fowler with 2 on. Cubs have 5 hits, 9 batters in, and a strike. So Jeff Luhnow was kind of in charge of their system, and he was leery of kind of going through the process with a guy who had those issues with his birth records. But the guys who scouted him said stay on him, and eventually they got everything approved. He signed with the Cardinals, and here he is. He's an all-star.
Yeah, it seems like the kid was unfairly punished, doesn't it? If he was raised by his uncle. I mean,
yeah,
didn't seem like there was anything nefarious.
Right, his age never changed, so it wasn't one of those deals where they said, he's 17, but he was really 19. Bounced into center. Lester will be sent by Gary Jones, and he'll score because Grichuk can't throw him out. Cubs thinking center field today. That's a good idea. 3-1. Boy, has this been fun to watch or what? Just relentless.
Martinez tries for the kick save, makes no contact, no chance they're going to throw out Lester.
Well, you can speak to this from a pitching aspect, and if you're Carlos Martinez, you've given up 6 hits, but that's got to frustrate you knowing that every ball hit to center field, the guy can't throw. So, I mean, not that you're going to.
Yeah, that there's a chance that you're going to give up an extra base anytime the ball is hit out there, and I think he's in center field because he can get support from both sides. I'm sure the corner outfielders have been told both, hey, anything hitting his direction, converge, be ready to help out. And now you might have argued maybe left field would have been a better spot. There might be less action out there, but obviously if there's a ball hit towards the line, there's nobody that's going to be able to help him get that ball back in, and you might give up 2 extra bases.
So 3-1. Now Schwarber takes ball 1.
Good eye. This is the 8th consecutive start that Martinez has allowed at least 3 runs. 2 or less in 12 of his previous 13. So he had been going on at a great clip. Not so much lately.
2-1 on Schwarber. Check on Fowler at first. So we go back to the first 2 games of this series. Lance Lynn couldn't get out of the third. Michael Wacha got roughed up early. And today it's Carlos Martinez. He's already allowed 3 runs on 6 hits, and he's only recorded 4 outs. Two and two. One little thing, you notice Schwarber, he asks the umpire a lot where pitches were.
Yeah, there's an art to it of second guessing an umpire without seeming to be second guessing the umpire.
Well, I think for him, he's just learning, right?
The ball's not up, Vic. The ball seemed like it was up to me. Ooh.
He got him. That's a very good fastball.
Cubs fans, let's go. Don't miss the stretch run at Wrigley Field. The Cubs return home for the final homestand on Friday, September 18th. The following teams will be in town: Cardinals, Brewers, Pirates, and then a makeup game with the Royals. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. The marathon is now a sprint, and the Cubs showing signs of a very good finishing kick.
Ball 1 to Coghlan. Two and 0.
Coghlan likes to hit the heater. Fastball count. Martinez has a good changeup. That's what he just tried. He overthrew the last one. Imagine Chris will be sitting on a heater here. Didn't get it. Changeup that may or may not have been in the strike zone, but called a strike.
Three and one. Just broke his bat. Chris will get a new one.
Now, right now, Martinez does not have a lot of confidence in his fastball. This is a kid who can reach 100 miles an hour. We saw him throwing 97 with real good movement to start the ball game. But some of the swings the Cubs have had at him, it's pushed him out of his game a little bit. A little tentative. More change-ups, working out of the zone.
There goes Fowler on 3-2 with 2 outs, and Coghlan strikes out, but the Cubs add to the lead 3-1 early. excited to share. It's now Cap and Holly's turn today, and they will answer your questions directly on CSN Chicago's Facebook page throughout their Cubs on-air coverage as well. To participate, go to facebook.com/CSN Chicago. Submit your questions. Tune in to see if they'll answer your questions on air. There you go. I really don't want to know how he was able to keep those bottles on his head. So John Lester with a 2-run lead. Here's Yadier Molina. Ball 1.
I believe the sun is beginning to peek out here.
Two 2-0. We got a lot of rain last night, but it didn't rain hard during the game. We started on time. We didn't have any delays.
Overnight, it was bringing it.
Fouled away. In the air, coming in is Coghlan, and he's got it.
The final Budweiser Bleacher Friday will help turn singles into doubles as Cub fans mingle while the Cubs play the Cards. That's a Friday, September 18th, 1:21 pitch. Budweiser Bleacher fans 21 and older will receive a 3/4 length Cubs top, and the afternoon will include fun social media interaction and creative food pairings. Visit Cubs.com for details. Meet the bleachers, fall in love. And maybe someday you'll own the Cubs.
This has been a rough series for Brandon Moss. 6 at-bats, 5 strikeouts, and he did make contact in the other at-bat, but he hit into a double play. The good news for him is he will not hit into a double play here, but he could strike out. It's 0-2.
And the real good news for him is he could hit a ground ball to second base, and he would be on an upward trend.
How about a ground ball to short?
Yeah. Some funky spin. Well played by Addie Russell.
2 down. Here comes Mark Reynolds.
This is off the end of the bat. It's got a little side spin on it. Well played. 2 outs.
Reynolds has made starts at all 4 corner positions for the Cardinals this year. First, third, left, and right. Felled by that foul off himself.
That's going to burn for a while.
Well, these two guys have matched up quite a bit. Inside, 2-2. Pitcher Martinez is on deck. Lifted down the right field line. Coughlin is over, quickly running out of room, and it's just out of play.
Lester struck out Grichuk to end the first inning, a backdoor breaking ball of some sort. Cutter, maybe a curveball. Not be surprised to see them try that here with Reynolds. Also way up in the zone. He'll chase high fastballs.
Baez to Rizzo to end the inning. After 2, 3-1 Cubs.
Kilt in Roselle. Watch the Northsiders battle Philly. Enjoy Coors Light. Score free giveaways. That's Friday night, 7 p.m. Great beer equals great responsibility.
Anthony Rizzo will lead it off. Stella and Baez also due. Anthony with an RBI double in the first inning. That gave the Cubs the lead. His home run in the first yesterday was the game winner. Cubs have not trailed in the series. So with his next home run, he'll become the second left-handed hitting Cub to have multiple 30-homer campaigns. A guy named Billy Williams had 5 of them between 1964 and 1972. Bounce to Carpenter and shallow right. He makes the play.
Pretty good company when you're mentioned alongside Billy Williams. Pretty good story on Riz today. I can't remember exactly where it was, but one of the advanced metrics, win probability added. Did you see this?
No, I haven't seen what
it's
you're
a measurement of basically hits that help you win games versus, you know, less meaningful hits, and you get points against when you fail in big situations. And Anthony's the league leader in win probability added.
I like it.
Really good. Tight games late.
Well, Stella knocked in a run with a double. And his first at bat, he gets his 9th start. Playing second base today. Drills it foul. Now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag Northside Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. So the Cardinals pitching staff, we have chronicled how great their pitching has been this year. Their current earned run average 281 leads the majors by far. They have struggled mightily here in this series, and coming in over the last 9 games a 5.44 ERA. No team has put up a sub-3 in a full season since the 1989 Dodgers. And if you're looking for kind of a key stat why the Cardinals pitching has been so good, their left on base percentage is historically good. As La Stella sends one high in the air for Hayward. So their pitchers have stranded 79.5% of the base runners they have allowed. Okay. The all-time record is 79.6 by the 1968 Detroit Tigers. So, I mean, Martinez has been really good with men in scoring position. They made their biggest pitches in the biggest moments.
So whether that's a skill or it's just happened, you know, it has to have happened. Because league average is what, about 70 to 72%, I think.
The 0-1 to Baez misses downstairs.
And some of that too is maybe the ability to suppress slugging. You know, if you're ground ball guys, you get a lot of strikeouts. You don't give up a lot of extra base hits. Team has to string more hits together to push runs across.
Ground ball toward the middle, and it squeaks past Peralta. Kind of fits the narrative of Johnny Peralta, whether it's true or not. I guess we have anecdotal evidence to support the theory, and that is he makes all the plays hit right at him and does not have a ton of range.
He's only made 6 errors this year. You know, he could have dove, I think, earlier and knocked that ball down, but he wouldn't have had a play. So he's trying to stay upright as long as possible, thinking he might have a shot at Baez, who possibly could have gotten to second base on this ball as it trickled out into shallow center, and with 2 outs, might have been worth a shot.
Base hit to left by David Ross. Baez with an aggressive turn, and he'll easily make third. And a headfirst slide to boot, and he lost his helmet.
A good read by Baez that time with the ball in front of him. So I was going to take a while for Piscotty to run that one down. So, you know, you don't obviously want to make that third out at third base. But if you feel very comfortable that you can make it, you might as well take it. And here comes a red-hot John Lester into the batter's box.
Cubs starters have helped their own cause. Dan Herron, a big hit before the 3-run homer in the 3rd inning Monday by Addison Russell. He hit it hard, but right at Peralta.
He's locked in.
Jason Hamill, RBI hit in the run last night. Lester, 2 really good at bats today. indulgent Toyota upcoming schedule. 4 in Philadelphia. Remember, the Phillies swept the Cubs at Wrigley Field, so a little payback in order. Pirates, 4 games next week. That could be for the top wild card spot, or the division could be in play. And then the Cubs head home to play the Cardinals in a regular season series between these two teams. That guy's got nothing on you in terms of moves.
No.
Pretty good. That is Frank Drebin like Naked Gun. Nine 1-2 for the Cardinals against John Lester. Ball 1 on Martinez. Got on the NL squad, the All-Star game, the final man vote. 2-0. Uh-oh. 3-0 on the pitcher.
No, pink elephant. Don't think about pink elephants. Start thinking about pink elephants. Don't walk the pitcher. I'll tell you that it seems like that would be an easy pitch to make, but it's not. You're frustrated. You fall into the 3-0 hole on the opposing pitcher.
John will apply the tag. So good comeback after a 3-0 start. He gets Martinez. Now Carpenter tripled and scored in the first.
Martinez took 2, and had he taken 3, he probably would have worked the walk. That pitch probably a little bit up.
Outside ball 1 to Carpenter. Remember, missed a few days earlier this year with extreme fatigue. Missed the All-Star team. With no reason to hang his head. Todd Frazier, Nolan Arenado, and Chris Bryant ended up representing the NL at third base. So pretty stiff competition.
Yeah, pretty good positional depth in the NL at third base. David Wright back healthy, playing for the Mets.
Carpenter went around 1-2. This is that 2-game swing matchup. Cubs could lead 5.5 out in the division, or 7.5 back, and they continue to put pressure on the Pirates, who are 2 games ahead of them for the top wild card spot. Got a 9-game cushion ahead of the nearest wild card competition below them. Called strike 3 to get Carpenter.
Carpenter was rung up in the ball game twice last night. Looks at strike 3 here, and this one appeared to be off the outside corner. Take a look at our pitch tracks. Off the edge, but he hit his spot. Carpenter's still barking a little bit in the home dugout.
Scotty rolls it foul. Hey, Danny Mueller, Cubs clubhouse staff. You must know somebody. He's got good seats. One and two. I hope Otis knows he's got the day off today. Although I guess when you're sitting next to the dugout, there's a pretty good chance the clubhouse manager is going to see him.
He's on vacation. Taking a personal day.
Full count. Hayward on deck. Deep breath by the big lefty. And we'll redo a 3-2. Hey, congratulations to Tennessee Smokies GM Brian Cox, Southern League Executive of the Year. Third time he has won that award. First time since 2010. Just finished up his 14th season as a Smokies GM. Cubs AA affiliate. On a bounce. Boy, Baez, he has got soft hands. Just so natural out there at third base. Not a position he's played very much. Brings you the best Chicago football coverage in town on Bears Blitz. Hear from the players and Coach Fox about this week's matchup with Green Bay. Bears Blitz presented by Xfinity, premiering today at 4:30 on CSN. A big rivalry week. Cubs, Cardinals, Bears, Packers. Here's Addison Russell. Cubs leading 3-1 as they go for the sweep. Strike one. Oh, 2 from Martinez. Tap toward third. Russell slipped coming out of the box, but it won't matter. He's going to reach without a throw.
Well, Martinez, despite allowing a couple of base hits, able to post a 0 in the top half of the third, but he's right back into the stretch after this leadoff swinging bunt single by Russell. I'm obligated, as per the color man's manual, to say he couldn't have rolled it out there any better.
Fowler 1 for 2 with an RBI. Let's go back to the Baez play to end the bottom of the third. You've got a shortstop who's played some second, a little third, and he has grabbed his manager's attention. Joe was singing Baez's praises before the game. He joked, he said, "How'd you like the game by the greatest third baseman in the history of the game last night?" Back out there again today. Ooh, the throw gets away. Russell on his way to second. And it'll be an error. I assume on the pitcher Martinez. And it is.
And one of these in the game last night. Yeah, probably should have been caught by Moss, though. Yeah. That's for me, that's as much on Moss as Martinez.
They got to change that. They might have had him out had he caught it. I'm changing it to E3. Fowler pops it up.
Let's go gold through September 19th. Cub fans have the opportunity to take part in the fight against cancer by helping raise funds for Lester, Madden, Mott, and Rizzo's foundations in support of pediatric cancer research and awareness. The top contributor from each organization will receive 2 tickets and throw out a ceremonial first pitch at the September 20th game. Visit Cubs.com. Let's go gold for details.
Schwarber has struck out both times in his return to the lineup. First time he's been in the lineup just over a week. Cubs have a really good problem when you think about their young position players, guys who are here and guys who may be pushing, in that they seem to have more guys in positions, but the way Joe has used them, the way the organization has touted defensive versatility, this could be a lot of fun here these next few years. Whether Kyle Schwarber is a full-time catcher or an outfielder / part-time catcher, third catcher, if you will, which he is right now. How much can Chris Bryant play in the outfield? Javier Baez could maybe be a super utility guy until he finds one particular spot.
Yeah,
it's limitless.
Listella's ability to move around the infield. Castro, you know, that's kind of his role right now. He's been very good the last couple of weeks as a part-time player. Plus, you have a lot of assets under control that if you need to make a deal for pitching, you've got a lot of depth now.
Obviously, Schwarber becoming a full-time catcher adds tremendous value because of the offense he brings. But the Cubs have a lot of options moving forward. Outside, it's 3-2. Another guy who can play all over, Chris Coghlan on deck. And he strikes out again. Frustrating day for Schwarber, 0 for 3.
Maybe just a little anxious after a few days off. A man out there in scoring position trying to join in on the fun.
Ball 1 to Coghlan.
Cubs have 3, probably feel like they should have 1 or 2 more. They've done a lot of good work in this game. They've really pushed the pitch count up on Martinez. Approaching 80 here in the 4th.
Cubs looking for their 81st win. Won 73 all of last year. Cardinals still have the best record in baseball by far. 4 games better than Kansas City. They've dropped 5 of their last 6.
They have not been swept in a 3-game series this year. Cubs are a season best 23 games above 500.
Two pitch. Coghlan strikes out. Martinez strands Russell in scoring position. It's 3-1 Cubs in the 4th.
Sloan Park. Go to Cubs.com/Mesa to place a deposit on season tickets. and secure the best seats available. Individual spring training tickets will go on sale in January, so be sure to visit Cubs.com/Mesa, and you'll get the latest updates there.
Busch Stadium opened in April of 2006, home of the Cardinals. And it has long been, and I'll include the old Busch Stadium, not very friendly to the Cubs. Cubs had dropped 6 of 7 here to start the season series, but a chance for a series sweep, and leading in the 4th, 3-1. So the largest attendance they've had in this ballpark for a sporting event was for a friendly soccer match between Chelsea and Manchester, 2013, 48,263.
Is it configured differently? Are there more seats?
They must have been able to add some more seats. This is technically Busch Stadium 3. Old Busch Stadium was number 2. Sportsman Park had been renamed Busch Stadium. Lester wanted it, didn't get it. 3-1. And he could have gotten it. Peralta next.
Yeah, he's been a little tight on that pitch at the bottom of the knees.
2 hops to La Stella for the out. This used to be a 2 major league town. Sportsman Park actually housed the American League Browns and the National League Cardinals for a long time, the 20s to the early 50s. Browns then became the Baltimore Orioles in 1954.
Yeah, and I believe the story, and I forget the principles, but there was a time when the manager of the Browns and the manager of the Cardinals shared the same apartment. And one was always in town and one was out of town.
Oh, that makes sense. Sure. It's kind of like fielders sharing gloves way back when, right?
Yeah,
center fielder just leave his glove in the field, and the other team's center fielder pick it up. Yeah.
Or even when they weren't sharing gloves, it was just the norm to leave the glove on the field. There'd just be gloves laying all over the place. Of course, there was a time when players didn't wear gloves. I believe the great Bidnick Fee was the last non-gloved position player. Second baseman, Hall of Famer for the Reds.
I guess Bill Veeck, at one time, who had owned the Browns, lived in an apartment under the ballpark, under the stands, Sportsman Park. As Peralta strikes out. 2 away. Bill Veeck owned every team in the history of baseball, right? At some point, or at least he made an appearance. He had his hands all over everything. I mean, one of the most influential figures, certainly, in the last century in baseball. Bill passed away in 1986. Certainly made a big mark in Chicago and at Wrigley Field. Did you ever get to meet Bill Veeck?
I did not, no.
He was a teenager when he came up with the idea of ivy on the walls at Wrigley. Swing and a miss. Lester goes 1-2-3 for the third straight inning. 3-1. In Philadelphia, the Cubs will face the Phillies. Have actually been pretty good in the second half compared to the first half for sure. Friday and Saturday night's games will also be here on CSN. Join us beginning tomorrow night at 6 on Comcast Sportsnet. John Lester locked in. Jake Arrieta and lefty Adam Morgan. Tomorrow night, Kyle Hendricks, Alec Asher, a right-hander on Friday. Dan Herron, Jared Eichhoff, another right-hander on Saturday. And then Jason Hamill and Aaron Harang on Sunday. Two and 0 to Rizzo.
He has liked to go to the changeup in these counts this afternoon, especially if there's a dangerous left-handed hitter in the box, as there is now.
And struck well, but he lines to Grichuk.
Heater instead. Good swing by Rizzo. I've been doing a little digging here. It was Luke Sewell and Billy Southworth were the managers of the Browns and the Cardinals.
Okay.
That shared an apartment, and they actually squared off in the 1944 World Series. How about that?
Wow.
So apparently during the series, they called it the Streetcar Series here in St. Louis. Sewell's mother came from out of town to stay, so Southworth and his family moved out.
Martinez behind La Stella. Three and 0.
Now I'm giving you some bad information there. 44 World Series was Cardinals Yankees.
Stella walks. Weren't the Browns in the 40?
I don't know. I always thought the Browns were bad, and I found this link to this this article.
So Baez with a man on. Browns were in the 44 World Series.
Okay, it was a 44. Yeah. So I stand corrected in that I was right the first time.
It was the Cardinals over the Browns, 4-2. Bunted foul by Baez. Yeah, all those games played at Sportsman's Park. Gotta get that right. Pitch. 0-2. Wow, what a nice piece of hitting with 2 strikes for Javier Baez. Guided it into right.
Martinez likes to throw that slider across the top of the strike zone. This time it backs up on him a little bit. As pulls the hands in, fights it off, and flips it into shallow right field. A chance to add on here. First and second, 1 out for Ross. Martinez approaching 100 pitches, and now there's action in the Cardinal bullpen.
Ross fouls.
Sinker baller Seth Maness up in the pen. Randall Grichuk's out there in center field saying, just don't hit it to me.
Shallow right, Hayward hustling into foul ground, and he makes the grab, and the runners will hold. Well, he went a long way to get it. 2 outs.
Taking charge early and dogged pursuit is Hayward. He chews up a lot of ground.
In there on John Lester.
John, a solid single, and then a line out to short. And being treated with respect now. It was a changeup from Martinez.
Martinez clearly wanted that pitch.
Clearly, he's begging.
Gets him on a swing and a miss to end the inning. Cubs strand 2, lead 3-1. Chances to get more than the 3 they have, but they do lead this game 3-1. John Lester's been terrific today. Let's check in on Xfinity high-speed action.
This is the Cardinal hitter's 4th look at John this year. He has pitched well in 2 of his previous 3 starts against them, and he's having another fine day here today. 5 punch-outs and contributing with the bat as well.
A streak of 11 straight retired going into this 5th inning.
Got Molina, Moss, and Reynolds here in the bottom of the 5th. And if the Cardinals have something going, in all likelihood a pinch hitter for Martinez.
Close didn't get the call on Molina. 3 for 5 in the series.
Vic Carapazza, as I mentioned earlier, has been pretty tight in the lower part of the strike zone. Both guys, Lester and Martinez, both have been pinched down there a fair bit. Not that those pitches were, clearly strikes, but borderline, and both called balls.
Two-0 fouled off. Molina going into today has caught 1,083 2/3 innings, the most among all catchers. Three and one. Brandon Moss is on deck. Pulled foul. And a tweet from Tom. He said, can't imagine Joe Madden and Robin Ventura sharing the RV. Yeah. They could make a deal one summer. Joe would say, I'll leave the RV in Chicago, Robin, when you guys are home. Have at it, and then I'll take over when we come home. The cousin Eddie. Ball 4, leadoff walk. Although Cubs and White Sox have been home together on occasion, and now they play each other 4 to 6 times a year.
You just have to the cousin Eddie's big. You just have to spread out a little bit. That'd be fun, going back and forth. Leaving no, hey Rodden, we need a little milk. Make sure you hit the grocery store while you're in town. Give me some herbal tea. Don't change the dial on the radio. I want to listen to Casey Kasem's Top 40 from 1976.
Ball 1 to Brandon Moss. Now 1-1.
Lester's a little bit unique. He's a big, powerful guy. He's got that drop and drive style delivery. Breaks down that backside. Most of the guys that I think of that pitch that way are more fastballs up in the zone type pitchers, but that's not his game.
In the air out into deep left center, but playable. Molina almost all the way to second as Schwarber makes the grab. And 1 out. Tommy Pham is on deck for Martinez. Looks like another short start for the Cardinals.
easier to withstand this time of year with the expanded rosters. But unlikely that they've had a run like this all year with 3 starting pitchers in a row going no further than 5 innings. Their starters have been so good. And it speaks to how good the Cubs hitters have been in this series.
John Lackey went 7 1/3 on Sunday night against the Pirates, gave up 3 runs on 10 hits. Pirates pulled away late in a 7-1 win. One ball, 2 strikes to Reynolds. DeGrom and Strasburg tonight in D.C. The Mets will go for the sweep. New York leading Washington by 6 over in the East. Reynolds could not hold. He strikes out. Ball made by the home plate umpire, Vic Carapazza. Lester and Ross will go over the Tommy Pham scouting report. Curve strike.
Sharp, tight curveball. It's not a real big curveball. It's a more controllable breaking pitch than a lot of guys throw.
Right field. Coghlan over. Did he catch it? He falls into the stands.
You got it.
He caught it. What a play by Chris Coghlan. And that'll end the inning. And he gets a hand from the crowd here. Maybe even some Cardinal fans at least have to appreciate that play. Wow. stellar with a glove in this series, and Chris Coghlan may have just made the play of the week.
Yeah, in our open we showed you a lot of infield play. Coghlan actually made a very nice play in left field in the ball game yesterday, and a spectacular play here in the Cardinals' fifth. Very impressive stuff. He's had a very good year defensively. Here comes Seth Maness, working for the 68th time. 4 up, 1 down, 383. As I mentioned, an extreme ground ball pitcher. Lots of sinkers. Got to get him up in the zone. Let's watch Coghlan do his thing. Ahead of that wall, makes that a very dangerous play, but he gives up the body, sells out.
Maness to Russell, and he hits a ground ball to Reynolds. First time Russell's been retired, 2 for 3. Randy Choate, matchup lefty, is up. Reynolds in at third. Fowler takes a strike. Right back to the mound. And if you're going to be a ground ball pitcher, you probably would be best served to field your position well. 2 outs.
And usually those sinker baller guys like Maness, you know, they don't have max effort delivery, so they usually finish in a pretty good fielding position. Especially for a starting pitcher who's a sinker baller, you can save yourself a few runs over the course of the year just by being able to handle comebackers like that.
Schwarber struck out swinging all 3 times against Martinez, so he doesn't mind facing another guy on the Cardinals staff. Now they tweak their shift a little bit and move Peralta to the other side of second. 2-0.
See if you can get him up here a little bit.
He swung at it, 2-1.
Good changeup. Back-to-back changeups.
Maness makes quick work of the Cubs in the 6th. Command through 5 innings. Chris Coghlan scored the Cubs' first run on the Anthony Rizzo RBI double in the first inning, and Coghlan with a great defensive play to boot out in right. New left fielder now, Chris Denorfia, is in for Kyle Schwarber. Struck out in all 4 of his at-bats. Denorfia getting all stretched out. And here's Carpenter for the 3rd time.
Cardinals with just 2 hits in the ball game. Carpenter and Hayward in the first inning. 2 of the first 3 batters. Carpenter triple, RBI single by Hayward. Only 1 base runner since the walk to Molina to lead off the 5th. Yes, he did.
Struck him out swinging on a curve.
Getting that good tight breaking pitch. There's no humping. It's a very tough read for a hitter, especially a left-handed hitter.
Piscotty has struck out and grounded out. Swing and a miss.
Look premeditated, maybe. Swinging at that pitch. It was about a foot inside.
That's a strike. 1-2. Ground ball to the second baseman. Stella. 2 gone here in the Cardinals' 6th.
Cub fans, don't miss your chance to catch the best matchups in baseball. Reserve your place in line for history in the making by joining the season ticket holder waiting list. It's easy. It's free to register. And if you're looking for details, visit Cubs.com/waiting list.
Well, JD, it was 50 years ago today, or tonight. One of the best pitched games, right, in Major League history. Bob Hendley of the Cubs gave up 1 hit. But the Cubs didn't have any base runners against Sandy Koufax at Dodger Stadium. A perfect game for the lefty as they beat the Cubs 1-0. Prior to the Cole Hamels no-hitter at Wrigley Field earlier this summer, that had been the last time the Cubs were no-hit. Cubs went 7,920 games between being no hit. September 9th, 1965, and then July 25th, 2015. Most people know, but if you don't, Cole Hamels will not face the Cubs this weekend. He, a few days after that no-hitter, was traded to Texas. First pitcher ever traded during a season right after throwing a no-hitter.
What a way to finish his career as a Philly.
off the bat of Hayward. And Fowler will take it. And that will take us into the 7th. 3-1 Cubs.
Meet your favorite Cub players and alumni at the 2016 Cubs Convention. Takes place January 15th through the 17th at the Sheraton Chicago Hotel and Towers. Book your stay now. Weekend passes will go on sale later this month. Stay updated by visiting Cubs.com/convention.
Seth Maness, a 1-2-3-6. Then here's Kevin Segrist for the 7th.
And the Segrist with the scoreless inning in yesterday's ball game. He allowed a hit, had a strikeout. He's had a very nice year. He's got a 2.15 ERA. Throws hard, has a real good changeup.
Austin Jackson will hit for Coghlan. Time called at third spot. Seen Coghlan start a lot of games there. That's become a key pinch hitting spot against a lefty. Guys like Denorfia, now Austin Jackson. Carpenter will take care of him. That'll bring up Rizzo. Oakland A's reportedly set to announce a multi-year extension for their manager, Bob Melvin. They have a news conference scheduled for later this afternoon. Been a tough year for the A's, but they've had good success with Melvin as their manager.
He's a good one, and if you identify him as a good one, you don't let one or two bad years influence your decision making. I wouldn't anyway. Something to be said for stability if you find the right guy. Been a lot of turnover in the Cubs managerial seat, but I think they feel pretty good about the guy they have now.
Moss charges.
And I believe I read something too about Billy Beane taking on more of a club president type role, less on the day-to-day running of the baseball side, or at least some change in the role, that David Forrest, his assistant, would get elevated.
So Castro hitting for La Stella.
Castro with a big day yesterday. He's done a very nice job since he's become a part-time player. 14 out of 35 in his last 9 starts. 5 multi-hit games in that 9-game stretch, including 3 in a row.
So a big series. One ball, one strike. Looks like fastball in. Called by Molina. That's exactly where it ended up. Yeah, the A's, I guess if you went back 15 years and asked Billy Beane, when are you guys going to get a new ballpark? I'm sure he wouldn't have said, 20 years. But there doesn't seem to be any sort of solution. They got to get a new park, right? At some point?
I would think.
How can they stay there if they don't? Cubs will play in Oakland next year, by the way. There was a thought of the San Jose route. That never happened. Into left and a base hit. So he's on again.
Righty Mitch Harris is up in the Cardinal bullpen. That might have been the one to attack right there. I'm going to see fastballs out of the zone and changeups.
One and one on Baez. All the scoring in this game came in the first 3 half innings. Cubs with 2 in the top of the first. Cardinals got 1 in the bottom. Cubs 1 more in the top of the second, and nothing since. Cardinals only have 2 hits. Two and one.
In terms of batting average, Seagrass has been better against right-handed hitters than lefties. 2 things in play there. 1, that changeup really helps neutralize right-handed hitters, and 2, that a lot of times when you see those reverse splits for a left-handed reliever, it's because they're only facing really good hitting left-handed batters.
3-2.
We've seen it here in this inning with Joe opting for Jackson and Castro over Coughlin and LaStella.
Swing and a miss, and we'll stretch here in St. Louis. Cubs 3, Cardinals 1. Mobile. Cub fans hanging at Wrigley Field. Like a Jake Arrieta start. And Austin Jackson, after pinch hitting, will now play right. Castro stays in at second after spelling LaStella at the plate. As John Lester gets ready for the bottom of the 7th, congrats to Jared Porter. He has joined the Cubs as a director of pro scouting and a special assistant after 12 years with the Boston Red Sox. Here's Johnny Peralta. Grichuk and Molina also do against Lester. He's trying to even his season mark. Came in at 9-10. One hopper to short. Russell guns it across.
Justin Grimm up in the pen as John Lester nears 100 pitches here in the 7th.
Both Cardinal hits came in the first inning. Triple by Carpenter. 2 batters later, the RBI single by Hayward. Since then, one base runner. That was a Molina leadoff walk in the 5th.
John's last start against the Cardinals came back on July 6th. He went 7 innings in that ball game, allowed just 2 hits. 2 runs, they were unearned. Started the game with 6 1/3 hitless.
fly the other way. Surrounded by Jackson.
Next time you plan an event, why not have Clark, the official team mascot of the Cubs, stop by? Email him directly at clark@cubs.com or visit cubs.com/kids for more information on how to book Clark for your special event.
Strike called on Molina. Two strikes. Molina, an all-star this year for the 7th straight season. Jonathan Broxton getting ready for the 8th. Wide open stance by Molina as he digs in. This will be pitch number 100 for Lester. And it got away from him. He gets so angry with himself. 1-2. That's a classic waste pitch, but apparently he wasted it too much.
Yeah, I don't think he likes to waste anything. Every pitch has a purpose, and that one just, as you said, got away from him.
Missed the outside corner.
Probably more like what he was trying to do. And that's the thing, you know, you don't want to waste a pitch. You might not want to be in the strike zone, but you want the pitch to serve a purpose. You know, whether it's to, you know, slow a guy's bat down a little bit, take his eyes a little bit off the outside part of the plate so you can run that cutter in on him.
Fouled off.
Big crowds for all 3 games of this series. But the folks in red have been pretty quiet with the Cubs taking commanding leads in the first 2 games.
You ever seen that?
What happened?
Molina was tapping the plate.
Shattered his bat.
And broke his bat. Yeah, Molina gives a nice bat tap.
Yeah.
But it's pretty hard.
Yeah, maybe a little frustration in that bat tap.
Way outside. Let's see how hard he does it this time. Yeah, that's pretty vociferous. Castro's got it. John Lester has been terrific. 3-1 Cubs late. We are doing it today, answering your questions directly on CSN Chicago's Facebook page and on air. To participate, go to facebook.com/CSN Chicago and submit your questions now. Great performance today by Cubs opening day starter John Lester, giving up 1 run on 2 hits through 7 innings. And the damage came in the first.
Justin Grimm continues to throw. Lester would bat second in this inning, but that's not going to happen. Chris Bryant out on deck. But first it'll be Ross against Broxton. The big fella on for the 56th time. He's pitched to a 4.80 ERA.
Working from the stretch. Ross taps it foul. One addendum to the Jared Porter hiring. Now the director of pro scouting and a special assistant with the Cubs, Joe Boringer, who was the Cubs director of pro scouting, is remaining in the organization. So the Cubs simply bolstering their front office. Swing and a foul tip. Martinez, Manus, Segrist, Broxton. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ross is gone. And it will not be Chris Bryant, but instead Jonathan Herrera.
Hey, Chris, keep your powder dry. Might be another chance. Grimm down, Strope up. Looks like he'll get the 8th.
Well, we saw John Lester at his best today. And the best way to stop the running game is just keep guys off base in general.
And no chance for the Cardinals to apply any pressure with the running game. Hayward got that stolen base in the first inning, but 1 base runner after that. That was Molina.
Herrera, a switch batter, and he yanks it foul. Broxton 6'4", 305. Paid crowd today 43,557. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back Ks for Broxton.
Yeah, pretty good off-speed pitch there for Broxton. He got Ross with a 95-mile-an-hour heater. And Broxton, normally you think fastball, slider. Used to be a guy who was consistently 98-ish. Doesn't do that so much anymore, but still throws hard. A little different wrinkle there, that change or split finger pitch to get Herrera.
Ball 1 to Addison Russell. Single in the second, another one in the fourth, a ground out in the 6th. He has batted in all the even innings. Chris Coughlin telling Matt Caesar, yeah, I know you got hit by some linebackers in college, but I just jumped into the stands to make a catch. Fouled out of play. Rizzo said, yeah, but I climbed on the tarp and then into the stands. Actually, they could be talking about the stock market. I have no idea. But
talking about where they're going to go to dinner in Philadelphia tonight.
Two pulled foul. Gary Jones doesn't mess around when Addison Russell's at the plate. Remember, he got knocked down by a Russell screamer at Wrigley Field earlier this year. Right now, Gary is about 120 feet from home plate.
And also turn sideways to present a smaller target. Doesn't matter.
Broxton just struck out the side. Bottom 8, 3-1 Cubs.
MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, score, StatCast, live radio broadcast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat now.
Pedro Strop had some struggles last night as the Cardinals were rallying in the 7th inning. Eventually got out of it as Brandon Moss swings at the first pitch. Dexter Fowler coming in. He's got it.
Yeah, he allowed a couple of hits, a walk, a couple inherited runners, came home, made a big pitch to finish things off. Emphatic fist pump. He has struggled against the Cardinals this year. Comes into this outing with a 12.60 ERA against St. Louis. 8 hits, 7 earned runs in 5 innings of work. A couple of long balls and 5 walks. It would be good for him, for his psyche, to have a clean inning here in this ballpark.
Soon that pitch counted. 1-0 as Reynolds vacated. Rodney and Richard are up. Those are their last names.
We need a James out there. We have James Rodney Richard.
Had a James. Well,
yeah.
First name. 2-1. He walked him. Bring up the potential tying run, and it's Greg Garcia who has taken Strop deep already this year. Ground ball, base hit into right. Cardinals with their biggest threat since they scored in the first.
I don't think Joe's going to let Strop face Carpenter here. This team, this ballpark, has been a struggle for Strop this year. He just does not have a good feel. Just the body language watching him pitch yesterday, you could tell he just didn't feel good about things out there.
Here comes Clayton Richard. We'll be back. Phase 3, got a fly out, walked one, gave up a single. And now it's Richard against Matt Carpenter.
Look at the composite numbers for Richard this year with the Pirates and the Cubs. 3-0 at 3.98 ERA. This is a rematch. Richard came in to face Carpenter yesterday, threw 2 pitches, induced a soft little line out to third base. I guess you would anticipate soft contact, a soft hit, soft contact with a Richard Carpenter matchup.
Pete Cosma is going to run for Mark Reynolds. How about just literally, I could see her brain spinning, trying to make the connections. It works.
This is a good matchup. Clayton, a ground ball pitcher. Carpenter, a line drive hitter. Good start.
Fastball strike.
Carpenter normally willing to take a few pitches. He's always been comfortable hitting with 2 strikes, maybe less so. The strikeout rate is up. He's been rung up on some borderline calls in this series.
One and one, but we've only just begun. Who will be on top of the world after this at bat? First and second, 1 out in the 8th. Two and one. Base hit, center field. Kozma scores. 3-2 now on Matt Carpenter's RBI single.
For the first time today, the Cardinal fans really getting into it now. And it's going to be a one-and-done situation for Richard. Joe Madden working his way back out to the mound.
Peter Borges will run for Garcia, representing the tying run at second base. So the Cardinals making noise here in the 8th. It's 3-2 Cubs. Pitching change once again. We'll be back.
At the end of August, 6-5, 534 combined with the Mariners and the Cubs. Scoreless inning in the ballgame yesterday with a couple of strikeouts. In fact, that's kind of who he has been. 5 appearances with the Cubs. Got that plus changeup, and we've seen the mid-90s velocity on the fastball.
691 career appearances and 0 starts. He has been a career reliever at this level.
And yeah, he's used to being in the fire. That's a big years with Tampa. This is certainly a high leverage situation. Borges the pinch runner.
He can burn. Carpenter's at first. Piscotty the batter. 3-2 Cubs and a spin by Rodney, and he just wanted to let Borges know he's paying attention to him. Castro staying close. Trouble. Major trouble. Gonna one-hop the wall. Tying run scores. Here comes Carpenter, and the Cardinals lead for the first time in the series. on a 2-run double by the rookie Piscotty.
The Cardinals got to the Cubs bullpen yesterday in a 5-run 7th inning. But the Cubs had put so many runs on the board, and they were able to hang out for an 8-5 win. Not the story here today. As missed opportunities early kept this game tight, and a little leaky bullpen again this afternoon. The Cardinals have taken the lead. First time Piscotty has hit the ball out of the infield today.
Cubs with so many chances to add on. Couldn't do it, and now the bullpen not being able to hold a 2-run lead.
So we'll get our first look in this series against the Cardinal closer.
So Broxton now can get a win. Remember, he struck out the side in the top of this inning. 3-0 now to Hayward. Clayton Richard charged with a go-ahead run there in the bottom of the 8th. Stroke gave up 2, Richard 1. Ball 4. Not going to rant too much on the win thing for starting pitchers, but John Lester certainly deserved one, didn't he? And he will get a very tough no decision. Peralta takes a strike. A 3-run 8th for the Cardinals, now leading 4-3. Ross knocks it down. Yeah, you don't want to give up much more now with Rosenthal coming up in the 9th. Cubs will have the top of their order in the 9th. Although remember, Schwarber, Coghlan were taken out for pinch hitters earlier. Chris Bryant would be available as a potential pinch hitter. But we're not there yet. Now Fowler will be the leadoff man in the 9th. In the air to right. Jackson will make the grab, and the runners stay right where they are.
Two runs charged to Pedro Strop in this inning, 1 to Clayton Richard.
On Grichuk. Cannot imagine Grichuk's going to play center in the 9th. It's got to be Borges, right?
Yeah.
With the throwing issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ross had trouble locating the ball. It was right at his feet. Fastball missed, 2-1.
The Cardinals 5-run seventh yesterday. There were 3 walks and a hit batter. It was a 1-out walk to Mark Reynolds that got things started here for the Cardinals this afternoon. A walk that's more forgivable if it's a 1-run game, and Reynolds a dangerous guy, but with that 2-run cushion, you would have liked to see Pedro be a little more aggressive, and maybe it was more just a matter of not being able to make a pitch as opposed to being too careful or cautious.
Called strike 3, but the damage done. 4-3 Cardinals to the 9th. Fireballing right-hander.
Blake Leader with 42 saves. He's only failed on 2 occasions. He's allowed just 1 home run in 61 1/3 innings of work. A 42 save season this year, coming on the heels of a 45 save campaign last year.
Well, there you go. Cardinals have yet to lose a game when leading after 8.
Maybe they're due.
There's Borges in center. He can go get him. Carpenter goes to third. Cosma's now playing second. The major league leader is Mark Melancon with 43 saves. So
3. Okay.
Yeah, if Rosenthal gets this one, he'll tie
Melancon
for the major league lead. The top 5 in baseball are all in the National League. Here we go. A strike on Fowler.
No. Upper 90s fastball, real good changeup.
Out in front, pulled it foul. That was a change.
Yeah, and some guys go east and west with sinkers and sliders. He's more of a north-south guy. Speed you up, slow you down. He does cut his fastball, and he'll throw an occasional curveball, but mostly fastball and then changeup.
Got him on the heat. In the strike zone. for out number 1.
Last 5 Cub hitters have punched out. Broxton got 3. Rosenthal with a high heater, and that's you see the challenge for the hitter. Coming out of his hand, it's a very tough read. You're not looking for spin like you're trying to identify a slider. So, you know, the changeup really makes that fastball even better.
DeNorfia fouls away. One and one. Rosenthal is from Lee's Summit, Missouri. It's not far from Kansas City. 6'2", 220. He's 25 years old. Not a high draft pick, 21st round. 2009 out of Cowley County Community College, Arkansas City, Kansas. On the ground is short. That's Peralta. 2 gone. It's up to Austin Jackson. I mentioned earlier, those are your major league leaders. There are a couple of American League guys tied with Rodriguez for 5th, but you get the idea.
Jackson can find his way on here. That will give Rizzo a chance.
Low, ball 1. Well, normally you come in here and you go 2 out of 3. Yeah, I'll take it. But the Cubs had a 3-1 lead in the 8th today, shooting for a sweep, and this should do it. Kozma to Moss, and the Cardinals come back late and salvage game 3. 4-3 the final. We'll see the Cardinals on the next homestand. But that 2-game swing, JD, could have been 5.5 back in the division. Instead, now 7.5.
Yeah, and we'll wait on Pittsburgh tonight. They are in Cincinnati to play the Reds. And Cubs, the 2 games behind Pittsburgh as play started today. The headline for today: missed opportunities early.